Hey everyone, Don here with Paleotrax. Today I'm doing a stone knife review, so stick around, much to see. I know you'll enjoy. Alright, first and foremost, both of these stone blades you see, this little utility bushcraft knife that's hanging around my neck, along with this kind of more larger and longer camp knife. I made both of these stones out of dacite. Dacite's one of my preferred stones. I find it stronger than obsidian, but still easy to knap when I'm traveling out in the bush. I can definitely pressure flake with pretty much most antler tines, but I can also remove some flakes with some hardwood in case I lose an antler tine or break it. So anytime you're out and about trying to make a stone blade or shopping around for a stone blade, here's a couple pointers, here's a couple recommendations. One, you definitely want a fixed blade. You don't want something that is hafted into a handle and the half point is maybe a half an inch or even an inch down. That is a weak point in a stone bladed knife, and it can and most likely will break if you're using it quite frequently when out in the woods. So what I recommend is finding a blade just like this guy right here that is one solid piece all the way down to the very end, and that is wrapped with some sort of handle. I like the 50-50 rule. I like to at least have hopefully 50% of the handle and then have 50% of a blade. If the blade gets too long, you start to lose manipulation of the blade, and you run the risk of it, chipping, cracking, fracturing, or even breaking in half, and you don't want that. So if you keep it kind of between that 5 to 8 inches for most of your camp blades and most of your smaller bushcraft fine-tuning blades to around 3 to 5 inches, you really can't go wrong with that. So stone blades work like any other blade. It requires good and proper knife manipulation and knife usage. I'm not working blades out here. I'm doing this sort of work for fine-tuning, but any sort of mass removal, I'm getting close to the handle either side, and I'm removing the mass as it goes all the way around. Now this blade right here, it's double-edged. It means I have an edge here and I have an edge here. This just allows me more cutting surface and more surface to ultimately get the job done. You can see that this blade has a decent thickness, and so does this guy right here. However though, if you were going for a 45 or even let's say a 60-day walkabout, you might start with a thicker blade. What this allows you to do is, as the days go by, for you to remove flakes and pressure flake the edges to readdress the edges, knowing that the blade over time will decrease in its width as well as its length because you are readdressing those edges. It's kind of one of those little issues you have to deal with and address when utilizing stone blades, but it is something that's easy manageable. Starting with a little bit thicker blade for longer trips and using a thinner blade for more day hikes, 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. Now for a long-term survival or primitive living situation, as this knife starts to wear itself down, you can ultimately turn it into some sort of spear point, atlatl dart point, even an arrow point if you snap it in half and work 2 edges. Yes, it's not ideal because you're about to lose your knife, but you are gaining 2 other tools or even 1 other tool for some sort of projectile point. So anytime I use a stone blade, you have to make sure that you can readdress the edges. The edges are very, very important. That is your cutting edge. In theory, once this edge was to start to get thinner and a little bit more, let's say, used, I could switch this wrapping to this side and then readdress this edge and almost have a new working edge. This handled edge becomes my new cutting edge. So what you should pay for a blade like this, or even like this, should not exceed $100. I would say for this guy right here, this would probably go for about $40 to $45 based on what the material is. If this is dacite wrapped with sinew, yes, this is sinew, about $45. And this guy right here, about $80 to $85. If you're looking at buying a fixed stone blade wrapped with leather, with a leather neck lanyard, and someone's asking 150 bucks, they're out of their mind, trust me. Maybe if it has some sort of sheath that connects to a belt or even go around your neck, maybe you might jump up in price a little bit, maybe another $25, $30, but these guys aren't expensive to make, and they should not be marketed at that value if you're doing any sort of online shopping on eBay or anything along those lines. I sell knives like this, similar to this, for about $65 to about $90 based on the wrappings and based on the length and thickness of the stone. So folks, that's pretty much it. Stone blades are definitely a game changer. It allows for a deeper connection and allows for a different set of skills that you can start to exercise and master. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. I'm also on Facebook as well as Twitter. It's all under Paleo Tracks. But yeah, I'm always posting some up-to-date new courses, new ideas, new tools. So yeah, definitely check it out, and I'll see you in the bush.